right. Welcome, Jonesboro Rotarians. We had a great board meeting. We had a good turnout. Took care of a lot of business before today's regular meeting. So if you'll take a moment and bow, I'll return thanks. Heavenly Father, thank you for all their blessings. Thank you for our opportunity to serve as Rotarians to help the community and the world be a better place for all. And we ask that you bless this food of your service. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, before we go any farther, I want to ask David Morse if he will step forward, please. David has received Paul Harris Pen Plus One. All right. So that means that, well, your dues and contributions to the foundation, every time you pass $1,000 increment or 1,000 points, you get an extra $1. So that means that you have surpassed $2,000 over your time of being a Rotary.
Appreciate that.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Let's move on. Announcements before I open it up to the floor. I've got a couple. The next 2 Tuesdays, this coming on the 17th, Smoke and Barrel has agreed to contribute a percentage of their total sales for today to Polio Plus. That would go for our club to support Polio Plus. So next Tuesday, if you want to stop by at lunch or stop by, have a drink or a meal Tuesday evening, you're supporting Rotary and polio eradication. And Camelback Brewing is doing the same thing on World Polio Day, which is Tuesday, October 24th. So a week from next Tuesday, same thing. Stop by Camelback, have a meal, have a brew or something, and you'll be supporting polio eradication. Want everybody to be aware of that, and please share that with your friends on social media and so forth to get the word out. And Debbie, Peggy Taphorn has agreed that on our Christmas social, Saturday, December 9th, the temple will give a percentage of sales for that night to Polio Plus also. So thank you, Peggy.
Yep.
And I think you said 10%, but I'm not going to hold you to that. Thank you very much. On the Rotary calendar, Thursday evening, November 9th, the foundation banquet is in Greensboro at the Curry Center. I'm going to go. Jim Miller is going to go. So if anybody else wants to go that night, let me know or go ahead and register through the district website, DACDB. And I'll be glad to drive and we'll carpool up there that evening. So that's a fun evening. A good meal, good fellowship, and you learn that there's always a great speaker representing the foundation. So now I'll open it up to the floor. Any other announcements? Backpack Pals next Thursday. And this is Teresa's last day that we will be involved with Backpack Pals before she takes her, I guess, district job or area job. So anyway, we'll need, I guess it'll be a regular 400 or 500.
That's what I understand, yeah.
Probably a 500 meal packing event. Oh, do you have anything, Terry?
Oh,
you just count.
Oh, no,
Okay.
I'll wait till you be ready to open up for what's that thing?
Oh, bragging books.
Yeah,
In
bragging
a minute. Thank you.
I just want to give a heads up that we've kicked off. I have distributed pots of gold tickets for this year's fundraiser. And Merry Christmas and have a wonderful day.
Hey, Jim, with all the situations going on around the world, is Shelter Box able to keep up with all of the earthquakes and what's happening in the middle?
Floods, earthquakes, yeah.
No, there's no way you keep up.
Yeah.
You just have to do the best you can with what you have.
Did they go to Morocco?
Pardon?
Did they go?
They have gone everywhere. They went to Morocco, correct. They have been to virtually every location, and but you have to remember that those African countries are very difficult to get to. So they're very restricted as to what they can or cannot do in some areas, and Morocco's one of them. They were not initially invited into Morocco. They had to do Mother May I several times.
Well, I think USA was the same
Yeah,
way. Wow.
yeah. And so, yeah, so they've, it's a challenge, you know. But they were successful in Turkey. They delivered a mega airplane load of tents to Turkey for people who were displaced. And it's more of what they've done in Morocco is personal items, you know, like lights, blankets, those kinds of things, because people don't have a place, if you will, and so they're in a mobile status, so they're doing the best they can. But anyway, when later I will give an update next month on Shelter Box, and I'll give you a review of the basic areas where we've concentrated, and give you an update as the best I can.
Well, they're gonna need a lot of money to resupply.
Pardon?
It's been an awful year. They're gonna need a lot of money to
Oh,
resupply.
there's absolutely never enough money for any of the aid agencies, regardless of who's sponsoring them, whether they're private, government, or whatever. There's just never enough money to cover everything. There's like 1.5 million people are homeless. They're just wandering around and living, you know, for the next. It's ridiculous if you basically go look at it.
And then look at Gaza.
You know.
All right, well, thank you, Jim. Thank you, Larry. Peggy?
Tomorrow night is the official opening night of our second show of the season, Baskerville, which is a comedic telling of Sherlock Holmes, The Hounds of the Baskerville. It's really funny. It's 5 people, 3 characters play 44 different characters in the story, so that's where the comedy comes in. Sherlock and Watson are pretty much the same throughout. So please come and join us. It runs for 3 weekends. And tonight is the lighting ceremony at Common Grounds, Family Grounds, from 6 to 8. And Ting has been throwing money around the city and the county, so if you're not busy, join us at from 6 to 8 to meet their staff and welcome them into the county.
All right, thank you, Dave. Look forward to seeing that plug. Anyone else? Okay, bragging buzz. I think, Terry, you have something?
Yeah, I do. My good friend Peggy makes sure that I do this today. At the Chamber of Commerce banquet, come on. At the Chamber of Commerce banquet, my good friend here got an award. So what type of award did you get?
Jones Printing, Small Business of the Year.
Yeah, the Jones Printing Small Business of the Year.
Thank you, sir.
And so, when Miss Peggy speak, I just jump high, get high. So Miss Peggy want me to have everyone to line up and give our good friend a handshake. And I'm paying for the dollar for all y'all who want to say something to him about small business work. I got lots of money here. Money. So, can we just take a moment and just run, or everybody walk by and shake his hand?
Well, we could wait till after.
No. We want to get something.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, now you go pay the dollar, man. pay the dollar man.
What's that?
Hey, some of y'all in front of the camera.
Thank you.
Some of y'all in front of the camera.
And I'll stay right here and collect the dollar bills.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Very well deserved.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you.
And then this goes to Neil.
Absolutely.
Right?
Give it to Neil.
Easy come, easy go.
All right, I think we're.
Thank you, Neil.
And Peggy, we got $2 left over, so I'm gonna donate this to the dollar man.
All right. I think that pretty much wraps up, right? Wait.
Only in Jonesboro Rotary Club.
I hope everybody pulls for the Braves tonight. They're on the brink. The Dodgers and the Orioles have already bowed out after winning more than 100 games. So, say a little prayer for the Braves tonight. Okay.
They need one.
They do. They have not looked good at all. Okay, it's program time, and fellow Rotarian and my son Chad Burns Spivey is going to give us an update on river access that he is largely responsible for because he pressured and badgered people with the state of North Carolina for about 5 years. I think he called once a week, and they knew Chad. Oh no, it's Chad Spivey again. So, and they finally came through, and we have some state first class river access ramps here in Lee County, thanks to Chad's efforts. Anyway, let's hear that from Chad.
Talking about the Braves kind of got me back in a bad mood, but Bryce Harper is no joke. Anyways, yeah, congratulations. I know Dad, so many people call me on the weekends asking for his cell phone number and stuff to get something printed on the fly, and then they call me back and they'll say, you know, he didn't even charge me, so I'm sure that you've donated millions of dollars of printing to whoever. But appreciate the service that Jones Print does to the community. Yeah, so I'm just going to basically talk today about what's going on in our community and our state about river accesses and trails and things I'm involved with. One of the major proclivities that introduced me to the outdoors was growing up in a family full of hunters and fishermen. We did a lot of camping when I was a child. Jeremy Thomas and his dad Larry and my father and my brother would go canoeing down the Cape Fear River and stay at his family's land near Raven Rock. And when you're a kid and riding your bike to the end of the road, it seems like an adventure to be able to do something like that at 4 or 6 years old. I feel like you're really out in the middle of a North American jungle, and that's stuck with me my whole life. I'm an avid outdoorsman. It just does something for my soul. I'm currently, I chair the Lee County Parks and Rec Board. I chair the City of Sanford Parks Board. I'm also on the DRST Planning Board, which is the Deep River State Trails Board through the state of North Carolina. And I'm on the Deep River Parks Association Board. And the reason I'm on those boards is because I love to get involved with outdoor things. It's a passion of mine. I don't feel like it doesn't stress me out to participate in those type of things. I get really excited about it. It's just something I'm naturally drawn to. So through that process, like Dad said, we ran an indoor company. I started out with a buddy named Donnie Hall. We had a dream of building a vibrant river culture here in Lee County, and we took $75 or $7,500. We bought a really crappy van, and we used our personal boats, and we started this business. And we took people up and down the rivers for about 5 years. Grew the business, got a lot of people in Sanford, Lee County, and around North Carolina excited about the Deep River and the Cape Fear River here in Lee County. And then we passed it off to Cape Fear River Adventures, who Ely has been doing that longer than we have. We just felt like he had better tools and a business plan to keep growing the business. But through that experience, we realized that, you know, a lot of our free time, we were driving to other counties, other states, going down their river systems, using their awesome river accesses. And we're still here in Lee County where we have 43 miles of riverfront in Lee County. We have 3 rivers, or essentially 4 if you count the Cape Fear, but I mean, you got the Hall, the Rocky, the Deep, and the Cape right here in our county boundaries. And why did we not have any river accesses? It was baffling. I think one day I ran 200 boats, maybe it was a Sunday and a Saturday all day, and pulling them up and in and out of the river twice. And then I remember I got home and I just laid on the floor and I was like, this is freaking ridiculous. I should have did this when I was 20. My back was killing me. I was tired. I was sweating. And I was like, we got to do something about not having any river accesses in our county. So basically, I kind of made a Facebook post, and Steve Brewer reached out to me, put me in touch with John Sauls, and through that whole, John was really the impetus of pointing me in the right direction to get up with the NC State Parks, the Parks and Rec, the DOT, the Army Corps of Engineers, Tim Moore's office. And it takes about 5 years to get one of these projects done. They will study everything they can in the world that is known to man to put an 8-foot wide piece of concrete into a river. But it's not like you just go there with the money and they get an engineering drawing. You do studies of the flora, you do studies of the wildlife, the Cape Fear shiner, the salamanders. You get your permits from all these folks, and it's a process. So when you actually see the river access, it's quite amazing. The wheels of the government turn really slow, and I'm a really impatient person, so at the end of the day, it just taught me massive amounts of patience, which has been a good attribute to learn from that. The goal is to have an access in our county every 6 miles. Right now we have 3 permanent accesses along the Deep River. We have one at 421, which I think a lot of you guys did a little float with us one time where we put in there. And we have one at 15501, like you're going to Pittsburgh. There's one at the Camelback Bridge. And the next 3 that we're working on are Carbington Access, which is going to be a ramp and not stair steps, because we want older folks that want to fish with John boats to build a back a truck in there and just slide a boat off. We're going to put one at Indoor Iron Furnace. We're working on a 426-acre park there. It's going to be like a Stanley Park on steroids. And we're also going to put one on the Justice Track at US 1 in Wonder Rock. And when those are completed, we will have more accesses than any other county in the state of North Carolina, and pretty much one every 6 miles. What's awesome about our river systems, if you've been on them, anybody can go out there and float. There's not a lot of rapids. There's not a lot of log jams and debris. They got their equipment fixed. They've been cleaning the bridge areas. So you can be a 2-year-old with your parents, or you can be I think I took the Rotary Club, and they were in their 80s and 90s, you know, a group of 10 of those guys, and they had no problem going down the river. So it's just been a great thing to see that coming together. We drove by the ramp the other day, and I pulled over and I saw license plates from New York, all over the country, including a few North Carolina ones. So people are finding out about it. Some of the other projects we're working on right now is there's 13 major state trails, including like Mountain to Sea, Tobacco Trail, Appalachian Trail to go through North Carolina. Last year they designated this year as the year of the trail, and the General Assembly, the state is giving us tons of money to do outdoor activities. During COVID, they realized that people do not want to be locked down in their houses. They want to have outdoor recreational places to play and hike. So we went through the first phase of that, and now they have another additional $25 million that we're kind of submitting projects to get money for right now, including these other accesses. But the goal is to build a corridor called the DRST, which is the Deep River State Trails corridor, and it goes from Randolph County, pretty much from the zoo, all the way down to Lee County. It's going to be 121 miles long, and it'll be the 3rd longest trail in the state of North Carolina. And I'm on the planning committee and the board of that. Basically, we're doing land acquisitions, trail planning, right-of-ways, and easements and stuff like that. Currently, right now, Tim Sweeney gave us 1,500 acres on the Chatham County side. And has anybody ever been to the White Pines and hiked out here? It's a nature conservancy that the Triangle Land Conservancy runs, a nature preserve. And when I was a kid, we called it the Forks. We just drove our trucks down there and fished, and it's a beautiful area. It's like being in the mountains. There's a lot of mountain laurel and white pines that grow out there. But we're working on a land bridge that goes over the Rocky and connects to the other side of the river. It goes down Deep River to Moncure. And that 1,500 acres, Tim Sweeney donated to state parks. So we're going to have access to build hiking trails, maybe do a little biking stuff with Torque, who's a bike, they're basically a bike organization out of Raleigh. So that'll be the next big thing in Lee County. We're also working on the 426-acre indoor iron park, where the state, we're doing a 99-year lease with the state of North Carolina through Cultural Resources. And if you've been out to the indoor furnace, the goal of that park is to have like a historical hiking trail. You're limited to what you can do as far as the footprint out there because of all the archaeological sites and the National Register of Historical Sites. But you'll have hiking down by the river that goes by the furnace once it's restored. It'll show you where all the camp quarters were, the old foundations for the folks that lived out there, and kind of reconstruct some of that. And then you'll have biking trails up top on the Cotton Road side of the train tracks. You're gonna have frisbee golf and maybe some horse riding trails with a river access. So those are probably the most time-consuming projects we're working on right now. But as you know, we already have tons of things to do in and around the county. We have Raven Rock, we got the White Pines, we have the Camelback Bridge, we have the Deep River Parks, we have Deep River Shooting Clays, we got the mud races, the Devil's Ridge, Jockey's Ridge. If you want to be outside, there's no way you can not find an opportunity to do that here in Lee County. So essentially, that's kind of what I've been working on. The Blue Way trails, we just designated the 421 trail and the 15501 trail. And we tried to get those named after Andrew Signer for one of the sections and Officer Scruggs, who passed away last year, or it might have been earlier this year, just to do something for his family. He was a wildlife officer here in town. And the wildlife people said we could not name them after individuals. They don't do that. They use like geographical names. Especially recently with all the names that have been around in perpetuity with things coming up in the past, and folks are just getting away from naming things. But I submitted the applications and I changed the names to the ones that we wanted them to be in the application at the last minute and submitted them. So we'll see if they get named like that. The state was supposed to do that, and they sent me that work due, and it took about 3 weeks. And I said, well, if I did all the work, then I'm gonna name them what our county commissioners and we voted for. So hopefully that'll go through. But in these little brochures, as part of the river culture that we're working on, you know, Jones Printing was awesome enough to print these up for us. But anywhere you go, anywhere in Lee County, you should be able to find these at the visitor centers and find them at the access locations. But if you stop at a rest point along 95 or all over the state of North Carolina, these are all over the place. At you know, you go to Asheville, you go to Wilmington, New Hanover, the New River, you know, West Jefferson. You can find out about the paddle companies, where to go, and their outdoor stuff. So we put one together for Lee County, and that's what this is. It's got a QR code that takes you to an online map that's associated with Visit Sanford. Wendy Bryant and Kelly Ladotti did a good job on that website, just telling you all things to do in Sanford, not just outdoors. But this is basically where you can get in and out and some basic tips. I took about 10 years of data from the river charts and compiled them into a PDF, and we took some of that information essentially to put this on here for you to get in and out with your own boat without having to call somebody. But of course, if you do need to call anybody, indoor paddle is still operating. So, but yeah, that's essentially what we're into. Keeping it a little short, but you have any questions?
What's the website?
The website? If you scan that QR code, it will take you there. It's visitsanford.com. This is also on all the state websites, and when they get the designations done, it'll show up in about all the search engine domains that you can Google Lee County and kayak.
Chad, I thought I knew what you were doing with Lee County and then river access. I only knew 10% of it before you started talking, so thank you for everything you did. I'm serious.
Yeah.
I thought I knew what you were doing, but I didn't know you knew that much.
It's,
Thank you.
Yeah, I love it. It is very time consuming. We're driving to Asheville and Asheboro to go to these meetings about once a month. But it's worth it. You know, I want my kids and my grandkids to be able to grow up and go outside before everything's overdeveloped and have some green space to go out there and get along the river and see some animals and fish. And I think we got to get ahead of the curve because, you know, everybody's got to have a place to live, a place to shop, and that's coming and we can't stop it, but we also need to get ahead of that curve and make sure we have a place to play and recreate.
I've known you a long time, and I've heard a lot of Chad's 5E stories, and as I'm reading these helpful hints, It looks like every one of these is a Chad Spivey screw up.
Yeah, exactly. A screw up and probably spelling errors. I did publish something, and there was all kinds of spelling errors in there, man. I don't like to reread anything. I just put it out there, check the box. But yeah, 100%. Every time that I went out on my own after high school, I got either I lost a boat, had to walk 10 miles through the woods at night, knock on somebody's door to get a phone to call my parents to pick me up, or there's all kinds of crazy things that can happen to you on a river if you don't know what you're doing, which is another impetus to make these things. So you don't have to get screwed like me. But no, I love it. I think if we can get the DRST trail stuff fixed, having that 121-mile trail along with the new Greenway stuff. I'm also on another board that's working on submitting some funds, trying to get funds to finish our Greenway. You know, the Greenway is awesome, but it's to be honest, it's pretty boring if you go down to one spot and you ride to the end of the Greenway and back one time. You do it twice a week. I mean, after a while, it's like, okay, what are we doing with this? So we just finished a master plan with the city of Sanford, and the number one goal was to get more Greenway funds so we can go ahead and finish that, bring it through some of these neighborhoods off of Horner Boulevard, take you to the commerce sections of town, connect it over here with what is it, Temple Park. So we'll hit Temple Park, we'll hit St. Clair Park, or whatever the name of that one is now. Take it down there and then get on out to the Furnace. And a lot of those pieces are falling in place right now. So it's about $1 million a mile to do Greenway. And between that and the Triangle and some other developments along the creek over there behind the Nautilus or the YMCA, I think we'll start to see some construction on that here in the next 2 years.
Did they figure out how to get across 421? Getting to the furnace was, you know, one of the things
well, I mean, you can go under the bridge right there and go back behind the Craig property and then cross McKee. Once you cross McNeil Road.
Okay. I just, at one point, 10 years ago, they were talking
It's hard to do that, and we might not do that. We might just use the DOT right away along the train tracks because they're already there and they're straight. You can just follow the side of that. But the Craig's on a lot of land. They go up to the bypass, and there's a project out there for an RV park, and one of the deals that was worked out was if they would allow us an easement to cross their properties to get to the bypass for their RV park. It's part of an amenity for the park for us to get those old school families that really don't want anybody on their property. So I think in a few years, especially when the furnace starts getting restored, you're going to see a lot of that come into fruition and be finished up. And that'll be huge. Go ever walk Crabtree Park or go to Charlotte and get on a Greenway with a bike. Spend all day going to breweries and restaurants or shopping. You don't have to get in your car all day. It's kind of, you don't really get bored. You can get lost intentionally in a town and have a lot of fun. So.
Did I understand you correct that you're building a bridge across one of the rivers at White Pines to the other side?
We have done a site assessment for that, and we have, they're basically doing an engineering plan for that. But my goal was to put concrete blocks in the river to where you could just walk across and have the rocks look like the rocks that are there. It's less invasive. The fish can still spawn up the river, and it's not just an eyesore. It doesn't look out of place. But this company that does a lot of these footbridges and a lot of nature trails, they think the bridge over the rocky that connects it to the deep is going to be the way to go. So,
If you've never been to White Pines, it is like you're stepping into, it's like you're in the mountains.
yeah, it's literally, it's like regular rock, except for I think it's even beautiful. And not a lot of people go there.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I think there's a lot of Clean Water Act, and there's a lot more you have to do when you put a structure in the water. Or many times, but it was just easier and more cost efficient to go over the river.
Yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully we'll all be able to get out and walk our dogs and hang out and chill out and enjoy the growth.
Who's responsible for cleaning up after a storm event? If you get logs in the bridge or if the access is getting...
So the DOT has a grapper that's been down since Hurricane Matthew, and that's why the log jams were so bad. Tim Mabe is the guy that owns that equipment, and they have already cleaned all the log jams out just in the last 5 months that have been horrible. So they're going to maintain that, keep that going, especially now that we have access to more people are using the river. But as far as we have an MOA agreement with the state of North Carolina that Whitney Parrish worked out, our attorney. So her and Joseph Kill and I came up with a plan that basically if it's a named storm, kind of like an insurance named storm, that the state the accesses are on DOT property. So the state will maintain the accesses if a storm destroys them, and if it's just basic maintenance on grass, vandalism, tree debris and stuff outside of a named storm, then the county goes out there and fixes it. And these accesses it's the largest stair-step river access in the state of North Carolina that they designed. So we have steep banks, and the team came out of western North Carolina, like Bryson City, and they specialize in these steep bank accesses. So we have a really nice concrete pad at the bottom. There are 2 pads that you can actually sit on your boat and slide off into the river. And there's a set of stairs with a rail system you can slide your boat down. And the rail system is designed to collapse to where it doesn't tear up the actual pad and the steps. So if the log does hit it during a hurricane or something, they'll basically just come unbolted, collapse, and then we'll go out there and put new rails in the slide in and won't destroy the ramp. So, I mean, the guy looked at me and pretty much said, if this ramp goes, then this bridge will be gone before the ramp goes. So, I feel pretty confident.
All right, well, thank you, Chad.
You can keep these if you want. They make good paper airplanes.
All right, good program, good meeting. I do want to recognize David Miller. Some of you may not know David. David is the satellite membership chairman this year. He's doing a great job, so let's welcome David.
Hey, David.
And now, Chad, would you mind leading us in the 4-way test and the pledge?
The 4-way test of the things we think, say, and do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to concern? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.